Welcome to the Murky Cup, everybody! So, Battlefield of Eternity is our first map as we're kicking off a new tournament when qualifier number 1. So, we have the cats going up against the dudes. Spoiler alert, the dudes, the name is pending a little bit. I'll talk more about why they're called the dudes right now and why they might rename as we start the game. But let's talk a little bit about the tournament itself. So this is once again community sponsored from one specific person. I Can't Wait has actually made sure that we have another tournament very similar to the style of the Banshee Cup. But there is a reason why this is called the Murky Cup. So we're going to talk about all of this in just a second. Murky Cup very simply because we have bounties back. We have also the draft rule back where you essentially can play hero only once within a series. And with the bounties, we made a bit of an adjustment. One of the things that was kind of funny in the context of the Banshee Cup was that even though it was called the Banshee Cup, the Banshee was banned quite a lot. And when it came to the bounties, we were already talking back then about maybe incentivizing teams more to play certain heroes. And this is exactly what we're doing right now. So just to give you guys a little bit of an idea, these are the bounties that we have for the Murky Cup here. And you can already see that if you win a game with Murky, there you get 3 times the bounty rewards. Now, if you're not really familiar with that concept, then let me explain it to you real quickly. Essentially, what happens is that we have, for the tournament here, a prize pool of $2,000, and that prize pool gets split into $1,000 for the winner, for the top teams in the tournament itself, and $1,000 end up in a bounty pool. And every single time that you complete a bounty, you actually get a ticket for that bounty pool, and then at the end of the tournament, the bounty pool of $1,000 is divided accordingly to all the teams, depending on how many bounties they were able to get there. So with you completing the Murky bounty, you get actually 3 tickets instead of only 1. Now, as the question oftentimes comes up, each team has their own bounty board, so they can only complete a bounty once, but each team has their own board. So if this is unclear, we're going to talk a little bit more about it as the tournament progresses. Again, this is only the first qualifier out of 6, but the concept is actually quite fun. It's not really as complicated as it might sound at first, and we had all of that already with the Banshee Cup. But yeah, it's going to be pretty epic here. And again, big shout out to I Can't Wait. He's making this happening right now. And I can personally not wait to see more Murky, to be honest with you, because I am sure that teams are going to jump on this. Now, one of the things that I want to also very quickly highlight is that when we're talking about the qualifiers, you're only now allowed to pick up bounties once that we're starting with the semifinals. This is a single elimination bracket, so we have 6 qualifiers. Teams, they will gather points as they progress through the bracket. They can accumulate those points over the course of the 6 qualifiers, and then the top 6 teams move on to the playoffs that will be played out over 2 weekends. But there's a very specific reason why we're only allowing teams to pick up bounties in the qualifiers starting in the semifinals. In the first season of the Banshee Cup, for example, we didn't have any bounties for the qualifiers at all. The reason why we are now having them here starting at the semifinal is that we still want to give teams a chance to get bounties done during the qualifiers, but if you are starting in the first round already, or maybe in a potential round of 16, then you also always have teams that are highly favored, and we want to make sure that they're just not farming bounties there and later on, you know, don't have an incentive of playing them in the rounds where they're up against a tougher opponent. It's always a risk and reward calculation that we're looking for here, and that's essentially what's going to happen. So again, we're going to talk about this in all of the other tournaments too, in case it's unclear here. If you have questions, you can always post them, of course, and we're going to answer all of them, but the format in and of itself is pretty straightforward. We'll see what the teams are doing with it. So in this case now, we are in a best of 3 series. In the first round, we have 8 teams that signed up for the first qualifier. And I gotta admit, I'm a little bit surprised by it, because we have a weekday qualifier right now. We have every week 2 qualifiers, one on Wednesday and the other one on Saturdays. And I personally, especially since it's August and it's summer, I didn't expect like a full roster already signing, or like a full set of 8 teams signing up for a weekday qualifier. So I'm very pleasantly surprised by that. We now have for the cats with Muradin, Sonya, already a good lineup. It's Battlefield of Eternity, of course, so they are going for a reset combo here. Poke with Li Ming, looking for resets for her, looking for resets with Genji. And then on the other hand, with this being BOE, we get Hanzo for Nano, so again, you want to chunk that Immortal down quickly, right? And them playing a triple melee frontline would actually allow Ultralus to go into Crash Lightning here. So he could go for that talent if he is part of the 4-man, and Dehaka is definitely a candidate for the solo lane, so we'll see how they are playing it. But I would personally not mind seeing a little bit of Trash Lightning in game number 1 already of the Murky Cup. So, yeah, final pick for the Cats. What are they going to get? The Cats are jumping in with Captain Rex picking Deckard Cain for the team, for them heals. So, ladies and gentlemen, Battlefield of Eternity, our first game, our first map in the best of 3 series at the first qualifier of the Murky Cup. Game number 1 in the best of 3, and over on the left, Captain Rex on Deckard Cain. We have Valar on Liming for the blue team. We're getting Heras on Murden, Drakia on Genji, and Serath is playing Sonya for the Cats as the dudes on the right side with Gavlo on Diablo. We got Bloodcool on the Haka, Uki on Malfurion, Nan on Hanzo, and Ultralisk already disappointing us. He is playing Thrall with no Trash Lightning, unfortunately, but he goes into the Trolling Thunder over here. So, with that done, the one thing that I want to highlight right from the start as we're heading into this is that the dudes actually... Ooh, actually, wait a second, because we might already get a kill here. They're jumping straight onto Muradin, and he's already in trouble. That route from Malfurion, definitely on point. But they're not able to pick up a kill. But already an early brawl between the teams. Now what I wanted to highlight is that basically the red team signed up for the tournament with team name pending as their team name. And they said like, yeah, that's not gonna be our team name. It's not gonna be like a meta joke or anything. We actually will have a team name, but they couldn't name one for the first tournament. So I was actually racking my brain a little bit what I could call them, and I just decided on the dudes because they are a little bit, in German we would say, verstrahlt, especially when we're talking about Ultralisk and Gavlo. They're a little bit out there every now and then, so I think in honor of the Big Lebowski, this is actually something that is quite fitting as a team name. So yeah, we'll see. Either way, as it seems, we now have the perfect storm, and Muradin, not so perfect here, so he is gone. Muradin eliminated, and he went on level 1 straight for stacking. Might follow that up with a sledgehammer on level 4, so they can start to hammer down the Immortal a bit more too. Since Thrall is actually part of the format, I am pretty sad that he didn't go into Crash Lightning. That would have been a nice one for sure. The Haka is now currently dealing with 2 at the top lane, as he has to go up against Genji and against Sonya. But still holding the lane here. Objective, of course, soon going to be announced, but since there are 2 heroes at the top lane for the blue team, that also immediately means that they have the numbers disadvantage at the bottom of the map. Losing Muradin in that context definitely didn't help their cause, so that gave a camp over to the red team, which now can try and maybe not take that wall down, but definitely start to damage it. But of course now Genji is moving back down to the bottom of the map. That immediately triggers an attack against Malfurion. Oki is a little bit low, Genji wants him, and they're gonna get him here. Malfurion is gone, the old man eliminated. And now teams on level 4 with the talents kicking in. We get the Frost Wolf pack for Thrall. So he's going to start stacking things up here as this continues. And of course both of the teams now highly eager to go for their Shaman camp to get some pressure onto the lane as the Immortal spawns. So they can try and set themselves up for a bit of pressure here. As expected, by the way, Sledgehammer is indeed in. So Muradin with his level 4 choice. We have also now Triumvirate for Liming. And camps are getting timed around the Immortal. The Haka still sitting tight at the top as we have some more aggression at the bottom of the map. Especially Gavlo. Nice combo with Thrall. Good root on the ground too. Damn, that was very well done. But he couldn't get the kill. But a nice CC chain that they executed. The problem is that Gavlo might now fall. Oh, he gets away. And Li Ming gets caught and killed. Yep, nicely done here. Alright, so far so good for them. That's the second kill for the red team. Maybe they can follow up with even more here. They keep poking Genji down, but we couldn't see anything there yet. They are making the play, on the other hand, straight up for the Immortal, and let's not forget they also have Hanzo in their midst. So he's obviously absolutely insane when it comes to taking down Immortals, and therefore the halftime show victory doesn't really come as a surprise to anybody. 2 stacks for Thrall as he's trying to get his level 4 stacked up. Gavlo in a little bit of trouble here, and that's actually a lot of trouble. Good route from Malfurion though, to stop them from following too quickly. And still some poke happening from Thrall as they're trying to aim for the Immortal, but the blue team is now sending Liming towards the left side. try and at least reduce those hit points a little bit. But that is just going to trigger another attack from the dudes. So they're jumping in. They're starting to do their work here. And the first Immortal is going to end up in their hands with ease. A little bit more than a 50% shield for them even. Still only 2 stacks for Thrall on his level 4. Level 7 is now kicking in. And that gives us the Ancestral Wrath as so often. We're having also now level 7 with the extra talent for them as an advantage at the top lane pressure. So the cats are going to try to catch up here. Should be able to do that with Sonya getting extra XP down at the bottom of the map. But at least the initial attack is already solid. That wall is going to fall and the fort is going to take damage. The only question that has to be answered is how much. If they can get a kill, that would be even better. The setup from Gavlo, but now Diablo's in trouble, is able to move out though. He makes it. Nicely done, and honestly, that distracted the cats already quite significantly, so that fort is taking an enormous amount of damage as the Immortal is moving in. Still the 1v1. Keep in mind that the Haka could also move up to the top if he really wanted to, but they are chunking this thing down hard, so this fort is nearly gone as the Immortal finally gets destroyed. That means if they make another pressure play, they could take that first structure out. Very good first objective for them. Counter aggression against Hanzo. Drakia wants him and he gets him. Nicely done. But Genji himself in trouble. Gets licked by the Haka and both of the Shimada brothers are now gone. The Kinslayer Genji gets destroyed a moment later, and to add insult to injury, he got his ass moonfired by Malfurion. So yeah, that definitely doesn't help his self-esteem any. 3 kills to 2, bit of a leading experience now for the dudes. And very close to also completing the quest for Thrall. Should probably not forget about that. Down to the bottom of the map now. Sarah is moving in with Sonya and the camp, by the way. So Bloodpool moving towards the top lane has resulted in them getting some experience and kills. But now he has to face the music down at the bottom of the map. There is still a brawl going on topside though. Gavlo is actually pretty impressive to me right now. He's made a lot of very aggressive plays and the blue team was trying to take him down. Was trying to, every time that he made an aggressive engage, take him on and drop him. But they couldn't pull it off so far. Nice moves also from Malfurion, of course, safeguarding all of this. This time Diablo is probably, yeah, he went a little bit too deep here. So the caster curse strikes again. The second I praise him, he's immediately gone. So yeah, no chance for him here. The caster curse, it is brutal. It is very, very rough and difficult to deal with. Malfurion, by the way, with the Twilight Dream. We get Arrow, Sundering, and the Barbecue. And even more stuns. Look at Sonya. She's going straight into leap. Might try and set it up here. Jumps into the backline. Whoa! Goes for Malfurion. And the arrow from Hanzo saves the old geezer for another second before Genji comes in and finishes the job. Genji again killed, but so is Diablo. And this time he doesn't have his souls, so now he's down for the entire duration. But the battle is far from over. They're re-engaging with Ultralist, trying to chase down Muradin, who's also slowly running out of mana. Sonya up at the front. The Immortal still getting attacked, and the blue team, despite the fact that they have a numbers advantage right now, is starting to fall behind here. Halftime show is about to be taken, and they are looking very good on this one. 5 kills to 4. Rotation down towards the bottom of the map still from Sonya. There's no leading experience or anything, but the objective, that's a very different matter. The death timers are still fairly low, so now the red team is back to business. 21,000 damage from Hanzo, 19,000 from Li Ming, the 2 top damage dealers in the game so far. Here comes Genji once again. This time they're trying to go for Thrall, who completes his quest though. Quest completed for Green Jesus, and they're still poking this out slowly. The Haka connects the tongue. Nicely done. Sundering is back. Could be used right now from Thrall. Might have to in order to save Diablo and himself. But Ultralist with the nerves of steel, not using anything here. Arrow! Sundering! And the kill. Gets the kill. Maybe the double. They're going for follow-up. Captain Rex able to move out. Sonya is gone, and so is Genji. That's the 3rd death of Genji. Barbecue play attempt against Deckard Cain, but he's able to get away. Now the move straight up for the Immortal, and this is going to be another big one. The shield is just glorious for them. What's that? 90% shield. So, yeah, that's pretty darn good. That is going to do a lot of work down at the bottom of the map. And again, as I said before, this topside fort is very, very low and will eventually take him out as well. So this is the second one in a row that the dudes are winning. The red team is off to a very good start here. Now that we're having the wave blasted away, it's all about that fort, and the Haka is destroying the one at the top already. So that's definitely going to happen. Everybody on the side of the cats is currently defending at the bottom. Nice, they go again for Malfurion. Stormbolt into a leap from Sonya, and Malfurion disappears within a second. Once again, we have the arrow coming out. They're trying to make a play there. Sadaf, careful. Sonya with a spin to win, trying to stay alive down here. She's in trouble though, and gets crushed. It's a 4 versus 4. The Immortal about to obliterate the fort completely, and we're not even done yet. Sundering doesn't connect with anyone, so Thrall is not able to get them another kill, but they have level 13 talents now. So a small power spike that they're getting as the Haka joins the fight, and they can break through that bot lane wall fairly easily, I would assume. So the attacks keep coming. 7 kills to 6 right now. The dudes with good work here, and falling back towards the camp. The Immortal did a little bit of damage towards the wall. 50 stacks, by the way, now on Muradin's Perfect Storm on level 1. So he is going to try and really leverage that during the objective phases here for the team. We now have level 13 in, and the blue team should be able to catch up with that fairly quickly, especially since they now have Sonya spinning through the minion wave up at the top. They just need a bit of experience and they're going to be there. And there it is. So, with that done, we now have on 13 the Ancient Blessings for Deckard Cain. We got Shingan on Genji and the Bronze Beard Rage for Muradin. The Haka at the bottom of the map playing very, very careful. Sonya and the rest of the blue team were trying to head over there to maybe set up a gank. We still have the battle for the top DPS raging on between Hanzo and Liming. Hanzo's still winning. Not by a big margin or anything, but he's still slightly ahead. And then you have Genji and Thrall essentially tied for 3rd place here. Now, with both of the outer structures gone for the cats, this is starting to get a bit iffy. Not too tricky yet, but they have to be now careful with Immortal number 3. If this one is taken as well by the dudes, then it's going to be, yeah, a little bit difficult. Because it will very likely, I mean, not necessarily mean that they're losing a keep, but it will very likely mean that they're going to take significant damage on one of them. Always depends a little bit on how much of the hit points they can reduce. But of course, in an ideal world, the blue team wants to now win their first Immortal and then start to turn things around here. Kill count is very similar, so it's not like they're not getting their kills. They try to make a play for Diablo. Noteworthy that Sonya did not jump in on this. They were a little bit worried about that. Sundering, Arrow, but Arrow only soaked up by 1. Here comes the barbecue, and Deckard Cain already a bit low. Diablo looking to move in once again. Yep. Topside pressure also from the camp, by the way. So while the blue team is trying to go for the halftime show that they're just missing out on, they also have to defend this, because this means that they're going to lose more and more infrastructure up at the top side. The biggest problem they're facing off is that level 16 talent that is going to kick in any moment now for the dudes though. So this is going to be a huge advantage. Still a bit of a gap, but they haven't... This is the reason why they're engaging this aggressively onto the Immortal, because they know they're on a timer before level 16 kicks in for the red team. So they've actually abandoned the top lane, and the two camps are doing significant damage here. But even with even talents, the dudes are willing to fight this. Leap comes in, they go once again, this time for Thrall. Ultralisk still alive, and is finally getting killed, but the counter kill against Muradin is immediately there. Drak here, trying to get away. There's another Moonfire, but it's not enough to take him out. Hanzo can't drop him either. It's a 4 versus 4 with level 16 talents in hand. And Genji gets killed! What? Genji got killed by the minion wave? No way! Genji gets killed by the minions, and the red team moves over to grab themselves another Immortal. 9 kills to 7, 16 to 15. And now the big opportunity to, of course, take one of the keeps. Especially with Genji down for another 10 seconds. You can already soften things up a bit before the Immortal is there. So, yeah. Oh, but unless they lose Diablo, that would, of course, be a big problem. But Diablo is able to get back. The Haka is at the top, escorting another minion wave in. They're trying to attack on 2 fronts at the same time. And the cats are desperately trying to get to level 16 themselves. But as I said, the Haka is doing damage at the top side keep. Down at the bottom of the map, they're defending against the Immortal as best as they can. But this is definitely a big problem for the cats here.
They're trying, but they're going to suffer. Diaga moves down to the bottom of the map. Deckard Kane is already gone. The old man destroyed. Now they go for Genji. He's dropped 2. And boy, oh boy, is this trouble brewing for the Cats. The dudes with some very nice plays early on in this tournament. On map number 1, they're doing a great job, and they might actually be able to win it here. The Immortal's still alive and kicking. The shield is slowly getting removed. It's a 5 versus 3 on the map. So this is disastrous. And with Sonya gone, there's honestly no doubt how this is going to end. Game number 1 goes to the red team, unless they're totally inting at this point. So, yep, 13 kills to 7 at the end of the day, and Battlefield of Eternity is taken by the red team. Last arrow YOLO'd out, and that seals the deal. The Cats, they lose out on BOE against the dudes. GG.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Map number 2, the dudes are ahead. We're going to Tomb of the Spider Queen. So we're still in the round of 8. And as I already said, in the round of 8, bounties are not a thing. But they are a thing for this tournament. And in the spirit of the bounties, I'm going to show you the bounties real quickly once again. As I said, there's a couple of special things. Every single team has their own bounty board, so if, let's say, the dudes complete a win with the butcher, then all the other teams still can do the same, but each team can only complete a bounty once. Murky bounty counts 3 times, because this is the bounty cup after all, and bounties count for all the playoffs and in the qualifiers, starting with the semi-finals for reasons pointed out earlier. So take a look at it, take a screenshot if you guys want to update yourself there. As I said, we are still in the quarterfinals, so it doesn't apply here. But since this is going to be the concept for the entire tournament, I thought I'd still show it to you, just so you guys are aware. And, as I said, we have our draft rule reintroduced. We had 3 tournaments now, where you could just draft whatever you wanted. There were no bans, there was nothing that carried over. In this case, now heroes that have been played cannot be played again. So there's going to be a little bit more hero diversity coming through with it. It's also one of the reasons why I personally expect that specifically when we're in the playoffs, we're probably going to see a bit more of the bounty attempts, simply because you're having longer matches, you're ending more often up on a game number 3, game number 4, maybe even game number 5. So all of that is going to play a role here. While we're actually doing this, also a quick note to everybody that watches this on YouTube. If everything goes well, and I'm not sure yet, because again, like I'm talking to future me here, you should also be able to access new quality options on YouTube right now. You should have a 2K version of the videos. Let me know if that worked or not. This is all still new. I have a new PC, new setup. There's a couple of things that I'm still tweaking and trying to make sure that they work. So there are a few hiccups that are to be expected. But if everything goes well, then everybody that wants it has now higher quality access on the videos on YouTube. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit that like button. It's the least that you can do, guys, honestly. Heroes of the Storm, not really the most popular game, and if you want to have more content in the future, hit the like button. It helps with the algorithm. Comments always help as well. Any kind of engagement is awesome, because again, the game is not getting any younger, and if you want to have more tournaments in the future, if you enjoy them, then that is something that you can actually do. So we got the babyface together with Blaze and Johanna. Blaze and Jojo, always a nice combo, honestly. Really cool combo at the front line, very strong. Johanna on this map, of course, fantastic for the added wave clear that she brings to the team, and the interrupts at any kind of turn-in that you're trying to set up. Blaze for the bot lane, also very, very nice. And with them picking Chromie early, talking about the Cats now, they're also taking it away from Nano, which is of course big. And you can already see it at the ban pattern. Maiev gets banned against Ultralisk, then you have the ban, the pick of Chromie and the ban on Mephisto, both targeting Nano and trying to take something away from him. But I'm sure that the two of them are still going to be able to get something nasty. But it's nice to see that the Cats are really trying to just meta this as much as they can and play against them right now. So, as things stand, question is more so what exactly is the blue team going to do for wave clear, because Chromie is definitely not going to be enough to facilitate that, but she already is the mage on the team. Unlikely that they're going to play this with a double mage comp. You could, by the way, see a mage on the other side too. You could go for Kelthus, you could go for Gul'dan. Oh, and we get Cho'Gall. Do they know that they can't complete a bounty just yet? I hope so. I actually communicated it with all of the teams earlier.
but they might not have read that message. Either way, I'm already happy. Maybe this is just practice. Maybe this is just training. But we get Shogal in the house now. This is gonna be fun. Alright, Shogal is in the house, and then we get Vala and Zagara. Me likey. Vala and Zagara. Captain Reactor's the final pick. We need some heals, obviously, to keep the big boy alive. It's gonna be Oriel that is gonna play here. Are we gonna get some... What else could they actually do? I mean, Anduin would have been nice with Shogal as well. That can be fun too, but I think they could go now for Oriel if they wanted to. Either way, guys, I gotta say, Shogal, this is just the cats, and I love them for it. 2 on the Spider Queen, map number 2 in the best of 3. We get Brightwing, and with that we're heading into our second map in this series. Let's go. First qualifier for the Murky Cup. Game number 2. It's time for trouble and make it double, baby. On the left, Captain Rex with Brightwing. We got Hirath on Cho, Drakia on Gal. Vala is playing Chromie for the blue team, and we got Zerath on Hogger. So, good stuff, I like it. Over on the right side, we have the dudes with a 1-0 lead after the victory on Battlefield of Eternity. Now playing with Gavlo on Johanna. We got Nano on Zagara, Uki on Anduin, Ultralisk on Vala going into stacks, and Bloodcool is playing Blaze. So, me likey. Let's see what we're getting here. Now, first of all, noteworthy that even with the lineup that they're playing, Ultralisk decided to go into auto attacks. We have seen, honestly, we have seen all kinds of stuff with Vala lately. She doesn't have the high priority on the European server that she enjoys in Korea. We had, of course, the Korean tournament not too long ago. If you have missed out on that, you can find the playlist on YouTube. Just generally speaking, I would really recommend that you have a look at the YouTube playlist. We had so many tournaments lately. North American tournament, we had a Korean tournament, we had offline events just a year ago that were pretty fantastic as well. So all of them should be in order, and you can check them out on YouTube as already mentioned. But with that in mind, the one thing that I really want to highlight here is that Vala gets played tons in Korea. She doesn't get played as much over here on the European side, and when she gets played just recently, we've seen some multi-shot builds being played out, we've seen arrow builds, we've seen auto attacks, but traditionally when you're going for an auto attack style with Vala, you want to have either double support or Uther as a main tank that doubles as a second support. We've seen triple front lines, but in this case, she's just another damage dealer. So Ultralisk is obviously hoping that he doesn't die so that he keeps all of his Gambit stacks together. But it's kind of baked into the cake at this point that it's fine if you fall a few times. So more damage is going to come out of Zagara. They have a lot of wave clear with that. They have also the percentage damage, of course, that they're trying to use against Cho'Gall here. So the 2 picks that they have are playing into that. Manticore on level 16. The Hydras for Zagara later on. All things that they're trying to utilize here in order to pressure Hrlik. I have no idea how to pronounce that, but I would say we're going for Hrlik here. A little bit of lead speak is definitely needed when we're trying to pronounce that. If you have any other suggestions, then you're more than welcome to drop them. But yeah, kind of wild. Now either way, we are level 4 now. Death Dealer. Ultralisk with enormous stack amount of 6 auto attacks that connected with targets on the other side. So we'll see what we're gonna get there. The attack is coming. Gavlo making his move. Ultralisk already moving out there as well. I can't actually believe that we have already a Cho'Gall in just one of the earlier games. And as I said, the bounties are starting to kick in at the semi-finals. So currently my biggest question, and I will follow up on this later, is if the cats either don't know that and are now thinking that they're playing for a bounty, or they're just saying like, nah, we're the Cho'Gall team anyways. We played in the past, we're gonna do it again here, and this is just practice. This is just a warm-up for us. We're gonna force game number 3, and we got the big bad ogre in the house, and we're going to wreck everything in our path. It's gonna be nice. Trap is already in. They're pushing the middle. Brightwing, the fruit fly, in a bit of trouble. And even Cho'Gall, but they are coming back with Chromie, just shelling from the back line up against the damage dealers here. I like what I'm seeing, I gotta say. Nano with gets interrupted. Zagara tries to half back, gets interrupted. Cho'Gall still sitting at the front, up at the top. Bit of creep spread still happening to get them the actual vision. But yeah, this is going to be a nice one. We got the Seared Flesh for Cho after the Calloused Hide. Gal in the meantime with the We See You. Yeah, we see you too. and the Rising Dread. So, Ultralist needs to be a bit cautious there. He has Anduin with him, so all good. Vala, yeah, starting to move in. Vala getting some nice attacks off against Chromie. So far so good, and even Brightwing is suffering as my girl is doing work, but Captain Rex is barely surviving here. That was a close call though. Nearly a kill. Even Cho'Gall is suffering a bit in the middle and has to be careful as he starts to slowly move back here. Quick reminder when it comes to the tournament format, by the way, this is all single elimination. So this is a sweet summer tournament that we have here. And since this is also a weekday qualifier, we do not have a double elimination bracket here. So single elimination, you accumulate points as you go through the qualifiers, and those points will be added up into a leaderboard. And the top 6 at the end of all of it make it into the playoffs. So we're going to have some fierce battles for all of that. And obviously, since you can participate in multiple qualifiers, that also means that teams that are diligently signing up for these events will have a very good chance of getting some extra points that might allow them to head into the top 6 here. We're actually 5 minutes into the game nearly. We haven't seen a single kill yet, so kudos to the teams. They really know how to toe the line here. Not a single gem turned in yet either. They're all greedy. They all want to keep them. So, down at the bottom of the map. Yeah, set of the story moving away. Brightwing in the middle. Has to be a bit careful too. Captain Rex sitting behind the gate and just doesn't have the wave clear needed in order to do anything about it. So the wall gets destroyed. Gavlo is turning in, and that's actually 37 that they now deliver. They are destroying a lot of walls. I mean, damn. They got the wave clear. We talked about this earlier. So they oh, and Blaze at the bottom of the map. The first one to fall as Cho'Gall and Hogga are taking him down. Jojo, in this case, not able to get the rest of the gems, so a few are now definitely lost. Some turn-ins are slowly happening on the side of the blue team too, but the red team is getting the first set of web weavers. So they're going to be descending here. And we'll see if they can take down one of the forts now. Now for Cho'Gall, obviously, the game is going to get a bit more interesting once that we have the percentage damage kick in, specifically with Manticore for Vala. Always assuming that Ultralisk doesn't die with the build that he's running here. If he really plays safe, he doesn't need a lot of stacks on his level 1. Just the synergy with Manticore and the extra attack speed is going to be insane against Cho'Gall. So level 10 abilities kick in for both sides. That's also where the stuns come into play with Hogga's Shockwave, for example. So this is going to threaten squishies like Vala a lot more. And the players are already slowly being made here. Cho'Gall, they're going to go for Ultralisk, and Ultralisk is safe. Nice heals here. Good angle too. They're turning it on the Fruit Fly, and Brightwing is down. They brought the big fly sweater today and just took him out. That means the fort will likely fall as well, as they're all dancing around it. Gavlo helping them up at the front. Ultralisk is targeting Cho'Gall though, but they're still working that wall a bit. All of the Web Weaver waves have now been defeated, but it definitely came at a cost. The fort at the top is at 50% of its HP. Down at the bottom of the map we see the same thing. And they still have a chance to move into maybe... Oh, if they can kill Cho'Gall, they can definitely take a fort. Maw is out. Zagara's in trouble though, in real trouble, and Jojo's also low. Zagara is down, so is Brightwing. So the Fruit Fly gets murdered again. Yeah, they got a bit of a Fruit Fly infestation, and apparently they used the right bait because they're just drowning over here. But Chromie, she gets murdered as well. Some gems on the ground, and Cho'Gall is moving in to pick them all up. So Cho'Gall still surviving, so is Hogga. But can they still defend that mid lane fort? That's the big question. 100 stacks, by the way, for Vala. It's not too shabby. It's actually really good. Vala with 24,000 now. And kudos to Ultralisk. Hasn't died once yet, despite the fact that he doesn't have 2 healers behind him. Nor a triple front line that he can hide behind. So, that's pretty solid. Blue Web Weavers are still getting a turn in. So they now have an opportunity to turn this and get some damage in on those structures. That's going to be the big question, if they can now really do some work. And well, at least Cho'Gall is doing a lot at the top. Taking out the entire wall before the Web Weavers are even arriving here. But they have, of course, suffered a lot during the first objective that they had to defend against. Now here's the opportunity. And let's see what we're going to get. A little bit of poke still happening. Gavlo, careful. Yeah, going up against Cho'Gall here. In a 1v2, so to say. Jojo! And that was too much for her to handle. Gavlo goes out a bit too far, and now Jojo is missing for the rest of the defense here. that is going to be a bit tough. Zagara is defending the top lane very easily, but now Cho'Gall here in the middle. Webweaver nearly taken out. Problem is that at the bottom of the map, it seems like this fort is definitely going to get destroyed. Chromie and Hoggar are working together. In the middle, they're starting to consolidate their forces in order to ensure that they're not losing more ground. But level 13 is now kicking in for the Cats as the blue team is desperately trying to get this series to a game 3. So Cho'Gall at the top, going up against Nano now. Level 13 talents are kicking in. And once again, the reminder that a lot of this is really hinging on level 16 abilities for the dudes. So the red team is in a position where once they hit 16, they're going to get some power spikes that will really pressure Cho'Gall. Doesn't mean that the blue team doesn't get some power spikes of their own. We now have on 13 also Molten Blood, for example, here. We got Timeout, so there's definitely some tools that give them survivability. But Cho'Gall is going to suffer more. The big hit point pool that Cho'Gall has allows percentage damage to just chunk him down heavily. And at this point in time, they're still very, very even. That could change once that we're heading into the next talent here. But we're not there yet. Slowly starting to work on this. Turn-ins are also still possible, specifically for the blue team, who didn't lose as many gems over the course of this map as the dudes did. Some camps taken at the bottom of the map. Vala now with 130 stacks, so getting closer and closer. Next reward here too. Still keeping the hatred stacks up as much as she can with the wall. Just has to be careful that nobody flanks in from the side, but the rest of her team in the middle is ensuring that this doesn't happen. They still, of course, want that fort in the middle at least. Currently, they are the only ones who have lost the fort. Despite how much damage they did with the first objective, they haven't taken the fort out yet. And that is... again, essentially you have to make that play to get those cut-up kills. So, looking at the damage output again, we got 32,000 for Vala, so she's slowly being outpaced by Gal, who's sitting at 33k. Good for him. Level 15 is now ready. We're getting closer and closer than 16. I really want to see if this switches with 16. If there's going to be a big change, a big swap, or how this is going to work out for them. Hirath is now starting to jump in. Here comes again the stun. Cho'Gall a bit low. Cho'Gall in trouble. Might actually fall here. Molten Block is being used already, but they are still trying to suck him in, slow him down, and there's the kill. Vala coming in with the final hit. More against Hoggar as they're trying to go for another one. Big stun follow-up, and that is the end right there. Hoggar is gone. Blue Web Weavers are coming down, but I can already tell you that they are not going to be able to do too much with these. This is going to be the easiest defense in the world for the red team. And now, of course, we have the 16 talents in. That gives us immediately Manticore for Vala, which is going to be huge, and on top of that also the corrosive saliva. So 2 big talents that will make it very difficult for Cho'Gall in a lot of these encounters. And the problem really is that Vala hasn't died yet. Vala has survived throughout the entire game thus far. We have good stacking also for Ultralisk, so that could be a problem. And I'm not even talking about another power spike. I mean, you're looking over to Anduin, for example, and the Crybaby is now in a position where he has a second charge here as well on the Leap of Faith. So that's going to be big. Zagara again with good damage. And just look at Cho'Gall. Cho'Gall is just like finding himself at 50% HP within seconds. That's the big problem right there. You are going to run into trouble as all of this progresses. And they have to break through that. And we'll see how they can pull that off. Headbanger is in. We got the Frenzied Fists and the Leaden Orb now. Red Web Weavers this time descending, so it was the dudes that were able to get the next turn going. Vala is now at 35,000 damage. Zagara immediately jumping up to 30k after now being able to drop some Hydralisks onto Cho'Gall with the extra damage. But Gal is still ahead. Gal is still on 40,000, so he's still ahead of everyone else. They're trying to fight this one here. Fort in the middle has been destroyed. Zagara's up at the top. Web Weavers are on the ground. And this is a bit of a moment of truth play right now. How much can the dudes do here? They are starting to move in. Top lane will be destroyed. That fort is definitely gone now. Hoggar's still trying to defend at the bottom of the map, but their main force is traveling through the mid lane in the hopes of going for the keep here. At least taking the wall down. Chromie doing what she can to stop it early. And then, of course, Cho'Gall also time and time again with the AoE damage here. Doing as much. Chaos reigns right now. But Shogal falling back. Gate is down. Wall is gone. There's the stun. There's the focus. There's the target. Molten Block is in. And instantly the counter against the old with Blaze dropping the bunker. But the top and the bottom fort have now both been destroyed. So forts are falling everywhere. Nano is not even with the team. He's sitting at the top side. He wants that top side keep. They're attacking on two fronts. The Web Weaver at the mid lane and the bot lane have now been defeated. But the blue team is still trying to follow up on this. And Anduin shuts it down. Nicely done. Chromie is able to save the top side, but it comes at a cost. The keep is down to 50% of its HP. And let's not forget here that we've actually seen them destroy two forts with this. Now, Ultralisk is trying to go for the boss, has also Tempered by Discipline, so you can essentially solo this fairly easily. But there's already the vision. Chromie has sniffed it out. They're fully aware what's going on. Still trying to slow them down a bit, but it's going to be a fight at the top. They didn't abandon it. They are still hoping to grab it. They did not abandon that at all. They're still poking down Cho'Gall as he moves in. But that's a bit of a dicey proposition here, because this could be the throw pit. But they're turning into the fight. They're letting the boss leash. They're going for the fight. And Cho'Gall with another molten block as he's about to get murdered. Vala again with the damage. Locks in another quest reward on level 1 as well. And they're still chasing. The fruit fly in trouble. Captain Rex about to go down, but is able to jump out with another quick blink heal here. So some repositioning happening from Brightwing. 8 kills to 3 now. Half a level until 20. And they're refocusing their efforts on the boss. The experience lead, of course, is now also there by 1.5 levels. The dudes right now closing in on level 20 as Vala with 42,000 damage is still only the second highest damage dealer in the game after Gal. But here comes the turn-in. Here comes the boss. They're going for the double whammy. We now have level 20 as well. It's not going to be easy. I mean, honestly, now we're going to get even more damage potential from Vala going into the Farflight Quiver here. And then the Pack Instinct as well. Cho'Gall is going to suffer. And Vala is still going to time this with the Web Weavers. So they really want to go for that big hit at the top lane. The keep is already at 50% of its HP. If they time the Web Weavers and the boss properly, which is happening as we speak, then they might be able to go for game here. They won a 2-0. They want to go straight to the semi-finals of qualifier number 1. We now have the boss traveling through the top. Web Weavers also coming in. Down at the bottom of the map, there's Siege Giants going up against the Web Weavers here. So this is not going to do too much. At least there they won't feel any pressure. But this is definitely a play for game. Level 20 advantage. The boss in your hands. And then on top of that also Web Weavers. They want to end it. They want to end it right now. Pressure against Cho'Gall. And Brightwing is gone. Brightwing is immediately gone. There's the Maw against Cho'Gall and against Hogger as they kill both of them. Nicely done. The big moves. Only Chromie is alive. The hopes and dreams in the first qualifier gone for the Cats. They are out already. And with 13 kills to 3 and a 5-man team wipe, we have the dudes claiming a 2-0 victory in the quarterfinals. GG and well played.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description and check that out. Thanks in advance and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.